Light the sense, commoners, and welcome back to the LVL, the League of Legends Varsity League. We are your shoutcasters. My name is Vulcan, and with me is Arctic, going into Game 3, Match 2 for today's broadcast.
Man, oh man, after coming off a 2-0 with UP Diliman, Oblation Esports still proving that they have that mojo in them from last term. Oh, I mean, we'll just have to see going into this next game. It's another 2-0 story, Technological University of the Philippines going up against AMA University, a 2-0 versus a 1-1. How that'll go down, nobody knows.
So as Arctic mentioned, looking at the schedule for the following matchups for today, it will be a TUP versus AMA. TUP, one of the shining teams in the first week of LVL, starting their LVL path towards victory with a 2-0. Let's see if this will be another 2-0 for TUP, whereas AMA have concluded their first series with a 1-1. Let's see, at this point in the second week, we can already determine who is going to make it next to the playoff stage, because as far as I know, it's going to be the top 3, and then it's going to be a gauntlet format.
Indeed, but before we get into that, I'm really interested in getting to see our player lineups for today, just so that we can get a prequel of who will be playing for today. Of course, for Technological University of the Philippines in the top lane, it's going to be Acedia. In the jungle, it's going to be Cha. In the mid lane, it's Bam. And of course, for our bot lane duo, Navi on AD carry and Nico on support with our coach Ferdinand Mackenzie Claro.
And moving on to AMA's roster for this matchup, this Game 3, we are going to be looking at Falcata in the top lane, Zove for the jungle, Inyebe in the mid lane, Relapse for the ADC, and Ken Frost for their support.
With first their coach, JP and Avelia.
I mean, at this point, coaches play a huge role in the team's welfare.
And I think it was a clear example of coaches having a huge impact on how these players play. Was the game earlier, Game 1, that was such a clean game, both teams playing it out really, really well. But I'm not going to talk about that any longer as we head into the present game, which is TUP versus AMA.
So TUP will be playing on the blue side, whereas AMA will be on the red side. First bands already dishing out. Zed and Shen and Twitch remove, probably a respect towards Relapse. And we know that Navi is very potent on the Tristana, and especially right now in the preseason, I would say Tristana is one of the most dangerous ADCs where it can snowball if you give him the resources.
Oh yeah, definitely. But let's go ahead and check out this pick here. Looks like Acedia might be playing this Jace here. Again, I've been championing how Acedia is one of the prime players to look out for in the, even way back in the LCL, now going into the LVL, I still consider him one of the top players right now. So to see how he'll perform on this Jace is something I'm interested in seeing, and how Falcata will ultimately be faring against that. That's something that we'll have to see transition into the Rift later on. Meanwhile, Ezreal as well as the Sejuani, I love this Ezreal pick being prioritized for Zhao, potentially for Relapse, but I'm assuming, oh wow, it is going to be for Relapse actually, as they lock in that Sejuani for jungle, Saya and Rom for TUP, and the Janna to lock things up.
Very powerful picks coming from AMA at the first dish of the first phase.
Oh, yeah.
Already showing their cards at this early, whereas TUP, they have yet to show their top and mid laners. So for AMA, they will be picking towards the Gnar in the top lane against maybe the Jace.
Yeah, definitely. But still, with all said and done, with the second ban of rotations, just to quickly highlight them, Niebe focus ban with the Kali and Malzahar bans, Azir and Kha'Zix onto Cha and Bomb respectively. Looks like Navi will be locking in the Syndra for Bomb. But yeah, just a quick reveal, quick check once again of our players that will be showing here for both sides. And it's very interesting though how this is ultimately turning out for both teams.
I wonder how these players feel like. Their faces are on the screen, their pride, their name is their school. I think it's a huge honor that you are playing for your school in the Varsity League.
Oh yeah, definitely. But with that honor is that pressure at the same time, especially as the first LVL. I could definitely relate to that when you're playing in one of many firsts. So yeah, it's not just about their pride on the line, it's the glory and the honor of carrying your school's name. Not to bring pressure to our players out there, but, still, I'd say history is still being made regardless. Just by being a team that qualifies for the LVL is a big thing in itself. But looking at the picks here real quick, interesting diversity here coming in from both sides. I'm wondering if Cha already has his victorious goods, might be showing off that skin in game. I'm not sure, but you're not have an idea.
So far, this is going to be the UPs dishing out their jungle Graves against Jungle Sejuani, as we mentioned in the LCL for the past 2 days, the junglers right now for the tanks are not that, I would say, healthy, not that dependable just yet. We have yet to see changes in the preseason. No patch notes have been given out just yet. So far, we'll be seeing the Graves. That's why it's understandable to see Kha'Zix being banned for AMA.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think with all the games that we've casted in the previous days, because we only get so much of a preseason check through semi-pro, so that was demonstrated at least through the LCL as well as the LVL. But for most of the games that we have seen a Kha'Zix, like the win rates are absolutely insane. Probably, if I estimate, probably we're sitting at 70 to 80% right now for Kha'Zix when on jungle side. But overall, let's go ahead and see how that ultimately transitions for both teams here. Man, oh man, though, I was kind of hoping to see an Ezreal jungle just because it's such a joy and a pleasure to watch. I mean, Ezreal jungle has popped up for most of our games here in both the LCL and the LVL, but with this...
I think it's the reason why when the Ezreal jungle does pop off, it's easier to use. I mean, Ezreal itself is very easy to use in the jungle. You can kite the camps. Yeah. It actually makes it more viable because you are being removed of the resources, especially the seal of armor that you're so used to picking up. Junglers right now, sometimes they don't have enough armor to go around the full camp healthy. So I think a jungle Ezreal is actually a good pick. But this time, we'll be seeing a jungle Sejuani. Not to mention, we did see a jungle Tristana in the LCL recently. So let's see. For TUP and AMA, this is going to be their first game of match 2. I wonder who is going to take on the lead, because TUP right now is standing at a 2-0. If you maintain it and end it with a 4-0, it just goes to show that we already know who's going to be the top dog in the rankings of the LVL.
Not just top dog, but also potentially securing their slot into a playoffs. Take note though, if I'm not mistaken, because we only have 7 teams, it's only going to be a total of 3, if I'm not mistaken.
3, top 3?
Yes,
we'll make it to the playoff stage. Gauntlet format.
So I think it's just all the more pressure because since there are only 3 slots, and with the system we're in, we've talked about this during day 1 with the PGS format, if you get 2 wins, that's 3 points. In the LVL, it's different, wherein even though you go 2-0, it's still a point each for a win. So again, every single point counts. And like you mentioned, if TUP goes 4-0, man, oh man, must they feel good about themselves. Easily potential climb to top 3.
And not to mention, the LVL is not going to be running up that long. So every week, we're going to be having the LVL every Sunday. So each week, we're going to see the progress of these players throughout the pre-seasons. Let's see who will make it to the top 3 and possibly make it to the playoff stage and be crowned one of the first champions of the LVL.
But yeah, I mean, that would be a huge honor in itself. Like you mentioned, history is being made. Step up for collegiate esports, and at the same time, just to be that first champion. I mean, you know, to go down in history as that standard in a way for...
Well, it also sometimes, we would say that, let's say the first champions is going to be a crown right now in the first ever LVL. But as you were trying to say, I think you were saying that the second champions will have to beat the record of the first champions. I mean, because they already set the benchmark.
Definitely.
Is that what you're saying?
That's somewhat true, but I think just the fact that you're the first champion in itself for such a prestigious league. I mean, like I mentioned, this is Varsity, so this is a step up amongst everything that we've seen in collegiate esports thus far for League of Legends. So, yeah, I think just that in itself. It's kind of like, this is a weird analogy, but if you think of history, when you think of, let's say, your presidents, for example, like you have a long line of presidents, you don't really recall everyone else, but for some reason you always remember the first.
Who's the first president of the Philippines?
Emilio Aguinaldo.
Really? Is it him?
I think so. My history is so rusty. You just had to quiz me on stream, but I don't know.
I mean, when you're talking about the first ever of anything, of course, yes, it will echo throughout. And I mean, let's say the second champions have been crowned, but you will always remember the first. Everyone remembers their first.
Yeah. First love, first
heartbreak.
Oh.
First, I would say, punishment from your parents, how you experienced the first discipline in your school.
Oh, yeah.
First failing mark. and the first subject you failed.
There's always a first for everything. You don't remember everything that succeeds, but first always makes a huge impact. But let's go ahead and see who will be the first, of course, to win the low varsity league. History is being made as they light the skies right now. As, of course, quick trivia, all the players are actually playing here live at the Garena offices. So I think it just sets the atmosphere all the more as to just how prestigious everything is happening.
Yeah, actually, right now the players are playing right behind us in the game rooms right here, and it just goes to show that everything is being monitored. They have to really perform, and not to mention being pressured to play in the game rooms itself, the same game rooms that the pros will be using. I mean, in the upcoming PGS on January.
I like the fact that it said the players are playing right behind us, because if you look behind us, oh, it's stormy weather, playing out in such terrible conditions. My, oh my. But still, going into this right now, we have our players on the riff. As you see, champions are reflected, as well as our respective talents for Technological University of the Philippines and AMA University, Quezon City. Who do you guys think is going to take it home? Will it be TUP in a 2-0, or will AMA University, Quezon City disappoint into a 1-1, or even, if lucky, a 2-0 for them? Let's go ahead and see how that ultimately goes down. Wherever you're watching from, Facebook Live or gaming.youtube.com/PHGarena/live, doesn't matter. Let us know who you're rooting for as we head into the riff for our second match of the game, which is technically game 4 of today's broadcast of the Low Varsity League between Technological University of the Philippines versus AMA University, Quezon City.
So far, this is going to be a standard, I would say, guarding of the entries of the jungle. So let's see, though. I'm expecting something that I saw in match 1. I mean, UBD and I Academy, they play this game how it's meant to be played.
Oh, yeah.
Macro-wise. I mean, when I see players always asking me, like, where are the clashes? Where's the fun? The fun is already happening right in front of them, and they don't see it. Because everything they're building towards, the itemization, the micro plays, is very minimal. Because one example here is, I would say, TME. They have great micro. But when it comes to macro, they do have some weaknesses. And I think for collegiate esports, the Varsity League, showing us that great macro play is the step to victory, I think that's a huge step up.
And if you could combine the two, both micro and macro, you have the great makings of a team here, especially for a setting such as LBL, though. But looking at the start off here per both sides, I like Nieve. Technically, it does make sense. You would go for a Doran Shield on a Vladimir. If you go Doran's Ring, like, what? You're like, what? You don't really get the mana from that. But
so you like Nieve? Is that like personally or because of his first item?
First item. But, you know, I do like the icy cool nature of the name, so thumbs up, man.
What does Nieve even do?
Yeah, but,
oh, but look at that. Trade up in the top lane. Ooh, already early as 2 minutes into the game, you can see how much pain Acidia is bringing into this laning phase, because as we always talked about, Acidia is one of the players you have to watch out for.
Oh yeah, definitely. And what's interesting here, a little bit of trivia as well. If there's one champion I also remember Acidia being efficient at, it is that Gnar. So bringing up that fact, it's almost a given that Acidia knows how to take down a Gnar in lane, having been one of the champions he was efficient at in his even in his bigger days.
And it's very interesting to see that in the top lane, it will be Falcata running the Glacial Augment, the inspiration path. So that's why we see that he already used his, I would say, stopwatch. Is that correct? Yes, it's broken right now. So far in the mid lane, though, there's the first gang of the game. First blood at stake, and the Permafrost will be connecting, but under the turret.
Good escape, though, coming in from Ram. Able to just swipe away the rest of AMA University. Has to be careful, though. Will be taking quite a bit of harass there. Coming in from Niebe. Very, very healthy as of Vladimir, as you'd expect, because of that sustain in lane. But still, meanwhile, towards the spot side here, looks like relapse, but ooh, Cha. He's going to try something. This wave is a little bit pushed out, though, so that won't be really much of an opportunity. Could get a little bit of a poke on.
So far, I would like to correct my statement from the Gnar there. It's actually not yet the stopwatch. You'll have to wait.
Right.
I think you have to wait for at least 6 minutes before you can use it, actually use it. So far, I like how, okay, the inspiration path offers a lot of game-changing mechanics, but I have yet to see like huge game-changing tools, because when you're talking about a Glacial Augment on a Gnar, instead of picking up, I would say, Precision, which can actually benefit the Gnar even more because of its stacks. I wonder how this will fare, because as far as I can see right now, he's getting his... Ooh! Oh my god. the damage from Acidia with the Jace immediately getting the first blood.
That was so painful, and this will only help Acidia pop off on this Jace all the more. And that's something that AMA has to look out for in this game constantly.
And we can see that in the top lane, Acidia is running the Airy in the runes. No wonder you can see few bursts of damage coming in from the Jace, and I would say this is going to be very, very difficult for their top lane of AMA, Volcata, because giving the first blood to a Jace is one thing, but giving so much room for Acidia to grow in this game is another. Well, let's see. There's the gang up the game. Sejuani coming in solo, landing those perma stacks. Looks like Acidia will be trading himself for a 1-for-1 in the top lane.
Yautza, he goes down, but still 2 kills now on this Jace. That is something that Volcata has to deal with until such time he's able to build up much more tankier items. And this is a topic that we've been constantly discussing in the past streams, wherein tanks are a little bit more vulnerable than they are, and it doesn't really help, especially when you're in mini-Gnar form, wherein you're all the more vulnerable.
I just love how Acidia played that in the top lane. I cannot believe how he was able to go for a 1-for-1 trade there. And when you go for a 1-for-1 trade in any sort of lane, it's not beneficial to anyone. You're just going to be giving more gold to Acidia, and the kill was picked up by the Sejuani, not the Gnar. So there's that gold disadvantage again for Volcata. So what's going to happen in top lane?
That's going to be a bit more of a struggle here for Volcata, unless he almost gets babysit by Zhao. But I don't think that's really something you want to do, especially for just a Gnar, when there's other elements on AMA which you would ideally want to get going, especially Relapse on this Ezreal, in my opinion. So let's just go ahead and see how that goes down, though. If anything, Volcata just wants to maybe try to take it easier, just so that AMA doesn't have to overcompensate too much for if ever Acidia starts snowballing into oblivion.
And we can see already 6 minutes into the game, TUP having a kill score of 2-1. And when it comes to ganking, Acidia does have complete control of his top lane. So much damage coming from the Jace. Acidia gets his 3rd kill.
Oh man, Volcata not having a good time in this top lane at all.
I just love how when the Gnar was about to leap, he just knocks him back with the hammer.
Yeah, very well calculated. But then again, like I mentioned, Acidia is known for knowing the ins and outs of this Gnar, and he's just capitalizing on that to the T. But looking at the items right now, though, I like the fact that Volcata did go for Ninja Tabi right away just to alleviate some of that. But then again, I don't think that will be enough, especially if you're going to notice Acidia already building towards that serrated Dirk. So, going to be quite the damage that he'll be dealing, regardless of Volcata having that Ninja Tabi.
Okay, this is bad news for AMA. If they do not control Acidia at this point of the game, he might just get the first blood. Getting the first blood when he's 3-1. I think this is pretty much game set.
Oh yeah.
Because when it comes to preseason, when a lane does snowball, it's just ridiculous how much advantage the team can get. When you're talking about the top or the bot lane snowballing, either lane that really destroys or dominates or controls however the game's being played. When you're snowballing this hard into the game, I don't know how AMA can come back from this, because they're trying to gank Acidia, but Acidia just fights back stronger.
Ooh, Cha getting caught out by that ward established by Zhao right there. But still, I mean, this is just going crazy in the top lane right now. Not only is Acidia ahead in terms of kills, he's also ahead substantially in terms of CS, 49-28 at almost 8 minutes into the game. That's
huge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to put
because when we're talking about CS, we can already see it right now. I mean, almost 8 minutes into the game. Highest CS right now is on to the Vladimir, 71. So picture that with a 30 CS onto the Gnar. You can see the 4 CS is behind here for the top lane of AMA. So what's going to be their remedy?
Remedy? Well, I mean, it's just Acidia towards the top side. But
hold that thought though. Zozo trying to counter jungle. This may be a fight. Bam, just waiting for him. Yes, he just walks into it. Scatter the Weak will connect onto the Vladimir. Great Glacier Prism, followed by a flash from Zhao to remove any threat from him.
Yeah, good timing there coming in from Zhao. That was pretty gutsy, but... Man, where was I? Okay, there we go. So, for the top side, I mean, it's a given that Acedia is just going to really pop off on this Jace. I think what AMA could do is try to alleviate some of that by looking for opportunities to snowball the other lanes. Like I mentioned, relapse on this Ezreal could be pretty potent. If anything, I've liked... Okay, a little bit of a fight happening here, though.
Oh, looks like Sha will be getting the kill. Probably onto Cancross. The collateral damage will not finish him off because of the heal. Nieve is there with the Vladimir. There's the Monsoon, but immediately gets cancelled because of Bam's stun. Relapse will be backing away. Glacial Fissure is used. No one is going to get hit by that.
Oh man, and TUP going to establish much more control. Looks like things aren't done just yet. There's a fight over these blue buff bullets.
The blue buff will be going towards Za. He did smite it away. The Sejuani could not engage because Za used his Glacial Prison in the mid lane to escape the damage coming from the Syndra. So I think that's all of the events that brought up to that certain point.
Exactly.
If only smallest mistakes, smallest, I would say, uses of your ultimates are crucial because you'll never know when you're going to need it.
It's like cause and effect and how it affects it in the long term. That's exactly what happened. Look at Falcata, though.
He might get sniped. Oh,
he has to be careful. I mean, as much as he wants to defend, he might have to give this up unless he wants to become a casualty himself. Plus a turret. That's something that you don't want to happen.
I knew it. Knowing Acedia, he would go for the flash immediately to try and kill this Nar. When you're talking about being that aggressive, that's going to be the penalty you're going to be experiencing. However, knowing Acedia, he may try to pull this off, trying to get away with the speed boost, dodges the last play, but in return, I think that would be a kill for Zaw. And an assist for Falcata. Very aggressive move, using the flash to try and kill the Nar.
Indeed, overconfidence there coming in from Acedia. Easily taken down. Luckily, Zhao was in the vicinity, but I think even without Zhao, Falcata most likely would not have gone down. But meanwhile, here in the bot lane, a little bit of a trade-off.
Trade-off, but that's not going to be a trade-off when AMA does have the advantage. They have more mana, more resources, and a flash is going to be still available for the Braum. I thought he would be flashing away, but the heal was there.
Indeed. So looking at Zhao, okay, will be escaping through the Arctic Assault, but with this bot lane, though, this is what I've been talking about here. This is something that AMA could capitalize on heavy. The poke potential that Relapse has onto both Navi and Nico is something that you do not want to underestimate under any circumstances. But yeah, let's go ahead and see how that will ultimately go down, though. Still teleport to try to save the turret.
Will he save it, though? Because that's very low. First turret will be secured by Acedia. And look at the chunk of damage coming in from the Jace. Here comes Saw. Or the Acedia will be going up to Falcata. Falcata is very low, not even close to Mega Nar form, but still Zoe will be getting the killing spree blow.
Acedia likes overextending his boundaries a bit, but in all fairness to him, at least he does secure first turret. But I feel like it could have been played much more cleaner, a little bit more, not too overextending the boundaries here for TUP's top lane, but still mission accomplished, I would say. But here we go.
Sa will be dueling two members. Looks like Falcata will be in Mega Nar form. Knocks it back to the wall. There's the stun and the lockdown. Falcata finally gets the kill he needs.
A little bit. I don't even know how to put it. I mean, TUP had a great start here, but they've been pushing the envelope a little bit too much and not too much to their advantage at the end of the day. And it just allows AMA to maintain equal ground. Sure, Acedia was able to get a build-up on items, but looks like AMA in exchange will be getting this bot lane turret. And yeah, like I mentioned, it's just pretty much even at this point, because while Acedia was able to get skyrockets going here towards the top side, meanwhile, the bot lane, Relapse and Ken Frost definitely had a better time in comparison to Navi and Nico. Look at the CS difference, 90 to 123. That is huge.
That is going to be a great advantage for AMA. Let's say the top lane did not do so well. At least their bottom lane were able to secure their outer turret. Gold lead is not going to be that of a huge difference at this point of the game. Almost 13 minutes into the game. Kill score is still 4-4. And the first turret was secured by TUP. And for AMA, they did secure their first turret. But the Ocean Drake has not yet been contested just yet.
Go ahead and see, though, TUP looks like they're starting to establish vision towards this dragon side in case they could establish an opportunity to try to take it. Let's go ahead and see how that will go down for both sides, though.
I love how the Nar opted to get the Glacial Augment because this makes him build towards certain items he needs more instead of rushing the Frozen Palette. But in this case, I think he should have picked up the Randon's Omen instead of the Black Cleaver when you're talking about a Jace.
Oh.
Because the reason why you would get the Glacial Augment is because you're trying to what's the right thing to say when it comes to not really getting the full mallet just yet, delaying it in a way that you can prioritize more defensive stats. We didn't see that with Anar, and that's why he lost his lane terribly. Not getting, I would say, the Omen is a better choice.
Still though, it's like TUP pulling up balance here. Goes for a dragon, going rushing towards the bot turret, but this might be a fight.
Caesar should go over the wall, and there's the flash and stand behind me combo for him to escape. I think the flash was a bit unnecessary, but when it all comes down, you don't want to risk anything.
Yeah.
Do everything and make sure you have no regrets.
Safety, and still though, look at the gold difference. I wouldn't even call it difference. It's very equal right now.
When you're talking about goal difference, we have to look at the laners, I would say. I would probably eye the top and the bot. The most noticeable lead that you can see.
Indeed.
But especially for the Kleptomancy Ezreal, that is just going to be something that TP has to deal with.
And I think subtly this could be a cool tilt towards AMA University, but then again, I think it all comes down to how TUP is going to be playing these next few minutes of the game. Because if you're going to look at things for TUP, they have a substantial amount of damage, but not the best CC in the world if you're going to compare it to AMA, wherein if AMA is able to get a lockdown onto TUP before TUP allows themselves to release their full barrage of damage, then that's going to be a problem for TUP there.
And for AMA, they really have to depend on this Ezreal relapse because he's pretty much ahead. I mean, CS of 157, no deaths, not even giving any resources to Navi and Miko, sorry. They're actually winning this trade-off very hard, not just in the laning or the CS, but the push power they are doing in the top lane.
Let's go ahead and see how this will go down there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Nero getting a little bit of push up here onto Bomb, but then again, it's just going pretty equal between both mid laners here, regardless of the fact that Bomb is a kill up on this Syndra. Not a single item completed yet though for Nero.
Do you think though the Black Cleaver Rush put on R is going to work right now?
Not right now, but I think it will manifest in the later parts of the game because he does benefit from that cooldown, and at the same time, while in the front line, if ever he could get those stacks up on the Black Cleaver, that will definitely benefit the damage that Relapse could deal himself while Kolkata is in the front line stacking up.
But when you're talking about, let's say, yes, I have to agree with you on that. I mean, the late game benefits of Black Cleaver will really help Relapse deal more damage, but when you're talking about Asidia, you got a lot of gold out of this Nar. He's going to be benefiting it more because he already has the Ninja Tabi, the Phage, and the Yomu's Ghostblade. But I think it's his carelessness. I wouldn't say carelessness. Too much aggression in the top lane that gave 3 clean kills to Sejuani.
Indeed, it could have been so much better for AMA in this case.
And I love how AMA played this game, already popping up the Rift Herald this early in the mid lane, splitting the members from mid to bot.
And I think this is where TUP macro will be put to the test, because AMA just playing around this map here while TUP trying to proactively push for lanes, but then again, in the end, it's them that finds themselves in the need to respond themselves. So let's go ahead and see how that plays out. Still a very calm game that we had here once again. So let's go ahead and see. It looks like TUP will be going on the offense though here in this mid lane.
So the Rift Herald will be securing the 3rd turret for AMA. 70 minutes into the game, already we're seeing a slowdown in the tempo of how these teams are playing. I think probably in the top lane really learned his lesson there, trying to not pick a fight with Asidia, not even getting close to the range how, you know, even a Jace can just flash and slam into the ground through the skies.
Totally. It looks like TUP though still trying to continue the offense. They're trying to get the shove in to take down this turret here from AMA. Still though, you can't really overextend their boundaries, so that would be a little bit too dangerous, as the scoreboard as well as standings for everyone across the board is still quite equal, even with the chaos that it showed within the early minutes of this game.
And especially for Bam, not much highlights were given to him in this game. Because we're talking about Vladimir and Syndra lane phase. Rather the Syndra and the Vladimir's, I would say, counterparts, because when you're talking about Syndra, you want to burst, you want to snowball, but we didn't see that right now in the early phases of the game. Bam can't do anything to the Vladimir, and the Vladimir can't even get too close to Syndra. So what can Bam do to actually make himself be on the spotlight? Because at this point, I think he wants to at least go for high priority targets, but Za overstepping his boundaries, going to the red side of the jungle, and here comes Miko trying to save him, but there is relapse for the damage, and finally Bam is able to burst down the Sejuani, and a teleport from Acidia will be going on to Niebe, and Niebe is going to be popping that static stasis, and now it will be Acidia taking down Niebe, and probably 3 members are down, 2 members alive. This could probably be a cleanup for TUP.
Looks like that won't be the case for the meantime, but still well played there from TUP, even though technically it was Cha that was caught up there. But then again, the numbers don't lie here. 1 for 3 in favor of TUP, and I think it ultimately comes down to the broad of damage that they have until such time that the tankier members of AMA build up on the necessary items that they need to sustain or to take on to tank all the damage coming in from TUP's arsenal.
And not just that, at that point of the clash, Falcata didn't even have his rage bar full just yet. So the timing was all on the TUP side. They capitalized it, but let's see the replay. What happened in the red side of AMA?
Okay, so if you notice here, AMA just converging onto Cha here. I mean, pretty much a done deal here. Relapse though, securing the kill. 2-shot barrage, but then again, it was just ultimately a huge collapse coming into TUP. Look at the damage though. Take note of the damage that Acidi had dealt onto the Janna there. It was just obliterated instantly, and I think that's something that AMA has to take into account of, even though the scoreboard is quite equal, until such time that they could deal with the damage coming into TUP. That's something that they have to be very, very careful with.
And for Niebe to pop that stasis stopwatch, it was very, not really useful because he just delayed the inevitable.
Still though, AMA gonna be going for this dragon, our second dragon of the game, consistent. Here, but Cha, very dangerous maneuver that he did there, just jumping in to the dragon side, but he's able to escape safely, luckily.
But the Ocean Drake does go towards to AMA. So hard to 1 Ocean Drakes for each, but now the next Drake will be the Mountain Drake. Let's see who will be taking this away for themselves. I mean, 20 minutes into the game, this is a completely different game we saw when you're talking about TUP having a good lead, but now AMA is catching up.
TUP though, for the meantime, Acidia just trying to push out, stop, and clearing out waves coming in from AMA's side of the board.
Oh, I think this is actually one of the same scenarios we saw when we do see Nar being picked in the Collegiate League, especially for the, one example is the LZL.
Right.
This Nar picked up the Frozen Mount and the Black Cleaver, but no MR, so I think Bam can easily burst down this Nar. I mean, even without the Mega Nar form, you can just go all in onto this Nar, just zone him out, because when you're talking about a Nar, he has to re-engage, set the clash as a Mega Nar form. But when you're going to be bursted before all that, what's the point of that? It's like a Jarvan not building defensive.
But still, for TUP though, I mean, we just really want to try to capitalize on this early. I mean, because if you're going to look at everyone across the board, Jace, Graves, Syndra, Saya, 4 champions that dish out quite the pack of a punch of damage. But if ever we head into the parts of the later game where Sejuani is able to build super duper tanky, could just take in all the pokes coming in from TUP. Same goes for Falcata to an extent. Already leaning towards more healthier items after the Black Cleaver, then we'll just have to see how this ultimately goes down though. It's all about win conditions and which team manages to take advantage of their spikes in this game.
Spikes and... What? Can you repeat what you just said? Spikes and...
Spikes and... What was that I said? I'm having a little bit of a memory gap here, but I think it was spikes and taking advantage of... Spikes of...
damage. Their
spikes as to their respective parts of the game.
I mean, when you're talking about spikes, who do you think has the good spike right now in this game? Because I can't see anymore when the lane phase is complete, because at this point, I thought Acidia would be controlling how the lanes are being pushed. He is doing that, but I think it's time for Bam to step in and try and go for those high priority kills.
Oh yeah.
Go for, let's say, someone who is going to be a huge threat here. But looks like Zell will be popping the Glacial Prison, and Navi and Bam is very out position. Looks like Niebe will be going for Bam instead. He did pop the Zodias and the barrier, so he will. Niebe, yes, he will be taking out Bam, and Navi will be making out alive. Miko joins in, but in the bot lane side, looks like Relapse takes down Acidia, thanks to Kolkata's Mega Nar form, and it'll be Navi going for Kenfrost. Kenfrost did flash away. Here comes Niebe, and Relapse, he will not make it out alive. Miko does, however, tries to flash away, but Niebe does have his flash, and that could be Miko trying to make his way away from Niebe, but I don't think he will be getting out of here alive. Niebe takes an easy kill.
Oh man, things are just going tricky here. Meanwhile, Wakada gets the trade there onto the Graves, and still for TUP. This is just going absolutely insane here, and that will be the signal for AMA to go for the Baron. I don't know what's going on with TUP right now, and I'm not sure if it's overconfidence from their 2-0 from the previous week, or just there's been a lot of overconfidence in how they've been overextending their boundaries here on the map, and AMA just capitalizing on every single instance beautifully. And with this Baron take, this will propel AMA to a greater lead right now, even with the gold difference kind of even out.
That is actually a sad moment for Bam. He was not able to cancel one recall to at least get one target from AMA. So right now AMA, they have secured the Baron of the game, uncontested. That's 100% theirs. Very easy Baron, and so far TUP, let's see how they will adapt, and they will try to fight back AMA's lead of a gold lead of 42,000 to, whoa, I would say they actually closed down the gold lead to that amount thanks to the Baron. And that is such a powerful objective in the game.
And power is on the side of AMA with that Baron. It all depends on how they play out and what configuration they go for in order to pressure TUP. And if you notice in that fight earlier, what I really liked about it is Zhao was consistently on Navi's case, zoning him out away from the rest of TUP, and just allowed the rest of AMA, especially the primary damage dealers such as Relapse and Niebe, to take down the members of TUP one by one. Because sure, TUP, it's without a doubt, they deal so much damage, but when you have a composition that deals so much damage, there's one thing that you're very weak at, and that's sustaining the damage in return coming in from enemies. And if you're not able to take down targets in time when you have this much damage from TUP, and if you allow AMA to come to a point where they retaliate with their own damage, then you have a problem on your hands.
Let's see, will this problem be solved by TUP? They will try to defend this incoming wave. Now on AMA, they want to secure their victory against TUP, one of the stronger teams. Going into this LBL, let's see. Legendary Fissure will not find its target. That's one ultimate down for TUP. AMA is still ready to go in. They have the Glacial Prison up. No flash for Zone, so I wonder how they might start this clash. But in the top lane, Niebe doing a great job pressuring the top lane.
Oh man, look at that heavy wave they're pushing in.
Oh, look at the damage coming from Bam.
Meanwhile, Niebe does still survive. This is a Vladimir, could easily sustain an exchange, but meanwhile, the rest of AMA converging on turrets. Valkada as well, making his way towards the bot side. This is pressure all across the board coming in from AMA, and TUP is forced to do nothing but to respond to everything that's happening on this map.
And when you're talking about responding for TUP, now they're responding to the top lane. Let's see, Niebe does not have a flash ready. He could probably be dead, but he does have the ghost trying to make it away. But the time for his team to get the Mountain Drake. So this makes it easier for AMA and harder for TUP as the game progresses. Looks like AMA is catching up in terms of macro in a way that they got the Mountain Drake. Let's see how they will use it.
Oh man, still though, looks like AMA gonna transition their way towards this bot side though. This is gonna be quite the fight here.
Eyes onto Relapse here because he is dealing a lot of damage, as does Ezreal. Already finishing up the Muramana. I would love to see how he's going to be positioning himself, dealing constant damage for his team. But one question is, when can TUP go all in?
Oh man, speaking of all in, that's the tricky part right here, because if you can look at their composition, they don't really have that hard, super engage that AMA has through the Sejuani, and to an extent even through the Gnar once he jumps into Mega Gnar form. So
okay, this could be the ghosting. Now Asita's busy in the mid lane, and immediately Zoe seizes the opportunity, going on to Miko. Miko's gone, no protection for the ADC, no protection for the mid laner, and looking at Relapse, he will be getting the double kill while Kenfrost takes another kill. Looks like TUP cannot fight back strong in the city, does not have enough mana, cannot fight against Niebe with 3 members down for TUP. AMA closing in probably towards their victory.
Oh man, this may potentially be the game indeed. Only Acidi and Shaw are going to be going for the defense here. The rest of AMA converges on these Nexus turrets here. Kite around while Shaw tries to deal as much damage as he can. Took quite a bit there, but still survives. Gonna go hard onto Relapse. Shut down. Shaw, though, in exchange will be going down, but looks like TP can try to go for the retaliation in the form of Acedia. Successfully defends. Game not complete just for the meantime, but for how long? AMA is on a roll, taking down an inhibitor, and that will pressure TUP a little bit more than they would have wanted.
So far, the game is not yet over. Maybe TUP still has the fight in them to turn this around, probably giving AMA a harder time. Next Drake will be the next Mountain Drake. The Baron has not yet close at all to respawning because at this point, TUP needs, let's say, another Baron misplay, a miracle for themselves. If the AMA makes a misplay in the Baron pit, this could also turn things around.
Still though, I mean, looking at the goal difference, and this is so interesting because TUP had a little bit of that advantage within the earlier phases because Acedia was doing so well against Falcata. But then again, it was one careless move after the other, and I think it ultimately built up into this deficiency for TUP, wherein, like I mentioned, they have all the damage in the world, but if they can't get that damage onto key targets because of how great the front line is for AMA, then they have a problem on their hands. And plus the fact that the damage that they take themselves is substantial. Oh man, it's just tricky for TUP at this point.
And at this point, this Sejuani is doing a great job dictating the clashes, starting things off with the Glacial Prison. And after that, everything all hell's loose. The Narc could be in our farm, sets up more defense, more crowd control. And TUP lacks everything that AMA has.
Everything they do have indeed. But 9 and 13 right now, still pushing out AMA in this mid lane. TUP, this is interesting. They're just forced into a more defensive position. All of the aggressiveness that they anticipated, which kind of technically translated to carelessness, is just ultimately led them to this point where they're just playing it so defensive, and it's not really, it's just a different tempo from what we've seen within the first early minutes.
And I just said in the early parts of the game, when the lane does snowball, it's pretty hard to come back. But what happened there was Acedia overextending.
Yes.
He giving 3 kills towards the Sejuani. When you're snowballing and you die 3 times the same way towards the same champion, that kind of eliminates your snowball.
Indeed. And it's a scenario where you think it's a learning experience, but 3 times, that is unacceptable. But looking at things right now, AMA trying to get a heavy push towards the
look at Miko
side.
trying his best to block up damage, but Relapse will be bypassing his shield, going straight for the turrets. So let's see how TUP will be defending their base, because if one member goes down, that could be a signal. And now, 4 seconds left on the Baron timer. Let's see how TUP will be managing to respond to the Baron. Maybe not only one inhibitor is down, so they can actually go for Conquest Acedia, spawning out members, hiding in the brush side. This is going to be fun to watch. I always love watching a Baron. Come on, Bam trying to make his way in. The stun is available, but still goes and it stuns the Ezreal, but there is no damage. There's the Glacial Prison. Oh, and there's the stopwatch, buying some time for the Ezreal. Relapse gets taken out, and Acedia in the backside, zoning out the Vladimir, and this is going to be TUP getting the double kill for their marksman.
And this may potentially be the Baron call for TUP right now. That was absolutely careless coming in.
Oh, it's not yet finished just yet. We're seeing this Nar a bit angry. Yellow bar is, I did saw the yellow bar here, but Niebe trying to delay the Baron, and that will be Zod taking out Niebe. And with that said, TUP gets the Baron, but Falcata pushing the base.
Oh, look at that, dealing quite a bit of damage. Next to turret number 2 is down, but here comes TUP. You take our turret, we take your life.
Looks like Falcata will not make his escape here. So do you think that was a good call for Falcata?
I mean, not bad in a sense, because even with the Baron buff, this does kind of limit TUP, but let's go ahead and check out the replay as to what happened here. This is just where things go wrong with it. Essence Flux, right? Oh man, that was crazy. Arcane Shift into the members of TUP, and it just...
He was stunned by the Scar of the Week, and he was able to shift in front of the Braum. Eats up the Glacial Prism, and at that point, that was a narrow path where Braum Ultimate works the best.
Oh, definitely. And at the end of the day, that just gave TUP all the opportunity to go for the Baron.
Go for the Mountain Drake. This could be TUP bouncing back.
Oh, definitely. This could indeed be that scenario, but let's go ahead and see. It all comes down to whether or not TUP could try to get as much value as they can out of this Baron, because take note, their base is still quite vulnerable. Inhibitors are up, but then technically not a single Nexus turret left to their name.
And Teleport is exhausted by Falcata. He tried to push the base. Looks like the Teleport timer is not even halfway through.
Still though with TUP trying to find windows of opportunity to utilize this Baron buff to the T, but it's tricky though because in exchange AMA making sure that they manage these waves correctly though. Looks like TUP have found a call to go by, and that is to go for an offensive mid lane maneuver as they converge on this inner mid turret.
Let's see though, Nico making his front move. That's good, there's a defensive wall, but no folks coming in. That'll be the inner turret, taken down without any trouble. Zoe has the Glacial Prison. There's the great knockup, but no follow-up with the Prison. I'm looking out for Zoe's Prison because that could start everything, but he does not use it right now. Things could look bad. There's the Glacial Prison to knock up Zoe to the air. A senior preparing poke. Where is the Prison of Zoe? He's not yet using it just yet. Instead, goes to the Nico first, and there's the Prison. On to Bam, and there is the wall from the Gnar. TUP fights back with the Seer taking on Ken Frost, but with that said, Relapse is doing his best to deal more damage. He's very low, but it'll be a Seer getting more kills out of it, and that's Navi. He's waiting for the time. That's the Guardian Angel, buying more time for Relapse. He managed to respawn, but Asadia gets that triple kill.
Relapse, the only surviving member of AMA, will be able to defend, though that is the question.
Could this be actually probably 2 turrets at stake here?
Indeed. But looks like TUP gonna take the high road, gonna keep it chill for the meantime, and that's a very good call. Don't want to overstep your boundaries, especially with Relapse at full health versus 2 low health members of TUP. Let's go ahead and check out that replay though. So TUP, if you notice, Chow taking so much damage in the initial fight, and there wasn't that much he could do except for try to hit what he can from the backline, and I think that's where things got a little bit trickier for TUP. Could have been better for them, but Volcata getting the knock-in onto these members of TUP. And looks like there's a convergence at this point. Take note though, AMA did not take into account that Asadia was hitting in on the heavier targets of AMA.
And we can see here that, again, the members are split off. But what happened to Miko? He was, I think, soaking so much damage, unnecessary damage. There was no peel for Navi, no protection.
And at the end of the day, looking at things were all said and done, that did end with both TUP and Cha surviving, but I feel like it could have been so much better for TUP if Cha didn't take so much damage.
And with the Guardian Angel down for Relapse, he won't have a second life, a second chance. And if he does not respect the damage coming in from, let's see, Asadia, Navi at this point, not dealing a lot of damage. He's still lacking a lot of burst when you're playing Azaya. But let's see. From that clash, I think he got a lot of money from it.
Let's go ahead and see though. TUP looking back, looking good right now. Does have Super Minion Wave pushing out towards that mid lane with an inhibitor down. Not even going to talk about gold differences again, because I think at the end of the day, this ultimately comes down to who could execute better in team fights.
They have the same Drake buff, same number, same, I would say, items. In a way, they're locked in. 4 items for this Gnar, 3 items if you have the boots. And for Asadia, he picks up the Guardian Angel. Ooh, 2 lethality items though. So this is going to be Asadia locked in. 6 items locked in for the top lane, whereas Gnar has yet to finish up. And I think he's going for the, let's see, Gargle Stoneplate. I'm not pretty sure, but he could be going for more MR. But I don't think Bam at this point is a huge threat to the Gnar, when you're going to be depending on your Mega Gnar form.
But for AMA though, at the same time, the fact that Asadia was able to build up on Guardian Angel puts a whole, it just ultimately throws off a lot of the calculation that AMA could do going into these clashes, because even though you could get Asadia, that Guardian Angel could actually throw you off a bit, and that's kind of a pseudo-tankiness in a way that it allows more time for TUP to deal the barrage of damage that they can onto the members of AMA. That's something that AMA has to be careful, especially when looking out for their key squishy carries such as Relapse, such as Ken Frost, until such time that this Guardian Angels could come back for Relapse.
And so far, the Baron will be live in 1 minute and 23 seconds. I wonder how this is going to play out, because when the Baron was live, TUP really got the advantage here, but Asadia going in onto this Janna, already popping the Monsoon. That removes the reset when TUP goes in. That's a huge, huge bonus for TUP.
Oh man, TUP converging on this top turret. Are we going to see a fight break out? That is the question. Look at the damage Asadia is dishing out on this turret.
And Mr. Clubtop and Kolkata already in Mega Gnar form. He cannot. If Amy wants to clash, they have to clash right now, because they're on a timer, because I don't think Volcata will be using the Mega Gnar form just yet. They will just be backing off. With the Baron being live in 42 seconds. There's the pressure.
Oh yeah, TUP, they could potentially go for this Baron, but it all depends. AMA, they have to push out this mid lane wave first before going for the potential counter on this Baron, but let's go ahead and see how that will go down for Retaliate. Still though with TUP, they are lingering, looking for an opportunity. Baron is almost up in 18 seconds. They're just waiting for it to spawn, but while waiting, that does allow opportunity for AMA to try to establish vision themselves to make sure that they have rain on TUP when they decide to start off this Baron.
And Sadia does have teleport. He will be pushing the bot lane wave. Let's see though. Baron is live. Arctic, let's see how this will turn out. This is going to be the third Baron of the game. And let's see how AMA will be playing this. They have controls here and there on their side, but they don't have complete vision in the Baron. Let's see. They're just waiting for the right time here. Caesar trying his best, just denying vision. Again, this is TUP establishing more dominant vision in the Baron pit. And with the inhibitor responding soon for AMA, this is going to be actually a 50-50. Because the inhibitor will be responding, that removes the super minions, but Bat will be flashing away. Looks like that'll be scattered a week onto Dinar. He's going to be reaching his Mega form. This is going to be the clash for TUP. Miko is going to be shielding. Asina goes in onto Relapse, but Relapse shifts away, and he may just take it out alive. He has the Guardian Angel. He's going to be using all of his skill shots here. Looks like Asina will be responding from the Guardian Angel, and this will be TUP just not cutting it short. AMA will be fighting by strong with a double kill from that Vladimir. This will be Navi trying his best to burst it out. Looks like the Feather Colors, no, not available just yet. That's going to be Navi taking down Sejuani with Za. Very low on health, blinking red. Navi's the only one remaining in the Baron pit side, and that'll be Relapse cleaning up the fight, taking down Caesar.
Wow, 4 for 1 in favor of AMA, but still though, AMA has to be careful. Very, very low health bars. They are heading towards the base of TP to try to go for an inhibitor, but they have to be careful as Navi, even though he is one member, he deals quite the amount of damage.
Navi has to buy time. Look at the damage he's dealing, but look at the damage that Vladimir is actually receiving. I thought he would actually deal more damage there. The inhibitor has been destroyed, and I don't think TUP's that timer will make it out just yet. This will be AMA securing the first game of match 2.
Man, oh man, that was quite the... How do I even put it? That was an anticlimactic end to this game. But then again, let's go ahead and talk about what went wrong there. Again, I feel like this could have been so much cleaner for TP had they not gone for these, how do I even put it? These oversteps. Again, like we mentioned, we've been pegging how Acedia, though not once, not twice, but thrice to the same people throughout the same habits. And there were these careless moves from TUP across the board where they could have potentially pulled ahead so early on, but because they made one mistake after the other, it just prolonged the game to an extent wherein it went equal, and it just came down to who plays out these team fights better. And again, with TUP, they have a lot of squishy members there, a lot of damage, but still squishy at the same time. So I think that was their downfall towards the end when the rest of AMA was able to build up the items they need, especially the tankier members, to sustain the damage of AMA coming from them.
So there you guys have it. That's been game 1 of match 1 of TUP versus AMA. AMA securing the first game, but we'll be having game 2. This is the best of 2 series for the LVL. We have been the Shoutcasters. My name is Vulcan, and with me is Arctic. See you after the short break. Trying to save him, but there is Relapse for the damage, and finally Bam is able to burst down the Sejuani, and a teleport from Acedia will be going on to Niebe, and Niebe is going to be popping that static stasis, and now it will be Acedia taking down Niebe, and probably 3 members are down, 2 members alive. This could probably be a cleanup for TUP. Then he did pop the Zodiacs and the barrier, so he will. Yeah, but yes, he will be taking out Bam, and Navi will be making out alive. Nico joins in, but in the bot lane side, looks like Relapse takes down Acedia, thanks to Kolkata's Meganar farm, and it'll be Navi going for Ken Frost. Ken Frost did flash away, because Ghosting, no, Acedia's busy in the mid lane, and immediately Zoe sees the opportunity going on to Miko. Miko's gone, no protection for the ADC, no protection for the mid laner, and looking at Relapse, he will be getting a double kill while Ken Frost takes another kill. Looks at TUP. Available, but Zug goes and it stuns the Ezreal, but there is no damage. There's the collision present. Oh, and there's the stopwatch, buying some time for the Ezreal. Relapse gets taken out, and Acedia in the backside, zoning out the Vladimir, and this is going to be TUP getting the double kill for their marksman.
And this may potentially be the Baron call for TUP right now. That was absolutely careless coming in.
Oh, it's not yet finished just yet. We're seeing This Nar, a bit angry. Yellow bar is, I did saw the yellow bar here, but yeah, they're trying to delay the Baron, and that will be Saw taking out the
Prison of Saw.
He's not using it just yet. Instead, goes to the Miko first, and there's the Prison onto Bam, and there is the wall from the Nar. TUP fights back with the Seer taking on Ken Frost, but with that said, Relapse is doing his best to deal more damage. He's very low, but it'll be a Seer getting more kills out of it, and Snappy waiting for the time. That's the Guardian Angel buying more time for Relapse. He managed to respawn, but Asadia gets that triple kill. But Bat will be flashing away. Looks like that'll be scanning the weak onto the Nar. He's going to be reaching his Mega form. This is going to be the clash for TUP. Miko is going to be shooting. Asadia goes in onto Relapse, but Relapse shifts away, and he may just take it out alive. He has the Guardian Angel. He's going to be using all of his skill shots here. Looks like Asadia will be respawning from the Guardian Angel, and this will be TUP just not cutting it short. AMA will be fighting by Strong with a double kill from that Vladimir. This will be Navi trying his best to burst it out. Looks like the player colors. No, not available just yet. That's going to be Navi taking down Sejuani with Za. Very low health. TUP's that timer won't make it out just yet. This will be AMA securing the first game of match 2.
Man, oh man, that was quite...
Not enough Garena shells to buy the latest League of Legends skin? On sale now? Get shells anytime, anywhere with your Globe or Touch mobile number. Go to gamer.com.ph and sign up with your mobile number and enter the verification code you will receive via SMS. Log in and choose the game and pin you want. Check out to purchase the pin with your load or through your postpaid account and receive the pin on your phone instantly. Never miss a sale on your favorite League of Legends skins and champions with Gamer.